You don't get born, you get assembled and incubated under deep ocean pressure. Your first breath isn't air, it's salt water through gills the size of factory doors. The alarms say one thing: this body can wipe a coastline just by rolling over. Trespasser, Category 1, stands about 302 feet and weighs around 104,000 tons. Roughly 63,000 cars in one body. When trespasser shifts weight, roads crack, windows shake, and basement walls split. That mass also charges a gravity tax. Even standing eats energy. Lie too long and your own weight squeezes your lungs. You burn power just to keep the chest open. Onibaba, Category 2, is about 188 feet and around 88,000 tons. The mass of approximately 530 blue whales crammed into a shorter frame. Short legs under huge load punch ground hard. Parking decks and subway roofs give way, dropping you into concrete pockets that pin limbs under rubble. Knifehead, Category 3, is about 315 feet and around 99,000 short tons. It has a blowhole on the top of its head which expels air sharply when it surfaces, and its back is covered with a shell-like armor. The rest of its anatomy resembles that of a goblin shark. The blade rules in open water. In cities it meets rebar and granite. Every smash blunts the edge and throws sparks that mark your path to every gunner within miles. A approximately 45 miles per hour charge carries approximately 18 gigajoules, 4.3 tons of TNT, in one hit. Slam reinforced concrete and the shock climbs the crest and sinuses. 2 or 3 bad impacts and hairline cracks crawl down the blade. Leatherback, Category 4, is about 267 feet and around 110,000 tons. It spits an electromagnetic pulse that blacks out gear, but old-school sights and dumb shells keep working. After the blast, biocapacitors need a recharge window, sensors and muscle assist dip, so unguided fire lands while you're dimmed. Otachi, Category 4, is about 207 feet and around 98,000 tons. Wings, tail grab, acid sac, and city flight around 150, 200 miles per hour with climbs to tens of thousands of feet in under a minute. Crosswinds can shove you approximately 35 and 65 feet sideways at that weight, into towers, cranes, and glass. If the sack gets cut, that acid rains back on you. Otachi was pregnant. The baby hits the ground early and dies in seconds. Lungs not formed, umbilical cord around the neck. It's factory-timed biology, not nature. Scavengers still strip what's left. Mutivore, Category 4, is about 295 feet and around 96,000 tons. It smashes barriers, but the hole becomes a funnel for fire and explosives. Straight into soft parts. Its tail splits halfway into paired blades and works like a giant pair of scissors, a shearing weapon for cables, hulls, and armor. It's also the kaiju that breached the anti-kaiju wall at Sydney, the moment that publicly proved the wall wouldn't hold. Raiju, Category 4, is about 358 feet and around 141,000 tons. In deep water, you're a torpedo. In shore break, you stumble. Surf prey's gill doors open, floods the lungs, then the next set rolls you onto piers and anchors. Speed turns into ragdoll tumbles. The head is a 3-part jaw that closes over the glowing real head like an armored capsule. The feet are curved to accelerate swimming, so it moves like a torpedo in the water and only opens its petals when attacking. Scunner, Category 4, is about 441 feet and around 154,000 tons. On reclaimed shoreline and soft fill, knees punch through and you sink to the hips. Getting out takes excavator time, and shells walk in while you thrash. Your glowing blood becomes a beacon. Drones ride the river of light. Booms pen it in. Neutralizer foam turns the slick to paste that clogs joints and gills. Every wound makes you easier to find. Slattern, Category 5, is about 596 feet and around 165,000 tons. Roughly 1,000 blue whales of momentum. Easy to track from sky and by wake. When it falls, it landslides. One hit liquefies soil, opens sinkholes under the chest, and exposes vents and joints while it scrambles. Standing back up shows the soft underside. Perfect aim points for Jaegers. Your DNA isn't freedom, it's a lock. The breach reads Kaiju, antiverse biology, and rejects anything else. If you don't carry the right markers, you don't pass, which means you're bound to your maker's design for travel and retreat. Your blood glows blue and it's toxic. One deep cut spills millions of gallons. Shorelines light up. Cleanup crews stay in suits for weeks. Your skin is real estate. Barnacles, lampreys, and hitchhikers move in. Every patch is a small infection while bigger weapons keep coming. You're not a species, you're a product. The precursors build kaiju and run them as a hive mind. This isn't migration, it's colonization. They tried Earth back in the dinosaur age, waited until our pollution made the air right, then pushed in waves, first categories 1, 4, with exterminators behind them. When humans drifted with a kaiju, the others felt it. Humans turn your corpse into an economy. In the Hong Kong bone slums, crews strip everything. Bone powder sells for $500 per pound as a male potency cure. Every part sells, even the waste. A cubic meter has enough phosphorus to fertilize a field. Brains fetch little because of ammonia, and the skull plate is too dense, so scavengers go for the secondary brain. Cytophlem cures into a glue that loosens when wet and hardens with heat. Dried skin flakes, flaky cakes, steep into a fever tea. Distilled cortical fluids, head changers, hit like a hallucinogen. Enzymes from the second stomach, electro-bile bags, can jump a car battery. Fatty marrow gets rendered into slow-burn fuel. And Kaiju Blue, the blood, is toxic. Whole blocks must be neutralized before people can live there. Your remains don't rest. They pay rent. Humans stack concrete like hope, 200 to 300 feet tall, about 50 feet thick, running for miles. It looks serious until you show up at 300 feet in a bad angle. Joints and gates are the weak spots. That's where traffic goes and where cracks start. Salt air eats steel, storms shake the base, and one gap becomes your door. Price tag? Billions of dollars for a giant speed bump. Impressive from far away, useless up close. Storms pick you first. With those tall spines and huge surface area, lightning slams you again and again. The attack rhythm only speeds up. Early on, it was months between landfalls, then weeks. In Hong Kong, 2 kaiju arrived at once, the first double event. At the breach, they pushed 3 together, Scunner, Raiju, Slattern, the triple event on January 12th, 2025. Your nerves are long roads. Even at about 394 feet per second, a command from brain to tail can take about 1 second. In a fight, that delay hurts. Moving mass this big cooks you. At about 110,000 short tons, lifting yourself just 2 inches each step burns about 13.6 kilowatt hours per step. 60 steps is about 830 kilowatt hours, an hour of power for a city block before sprinting or fighting. You don't snack, you haul tonnage. Eating just 0.1% of body mass per day is about 100 short tons per day. That's a medium fishing fleet's daily catch, gone. Do that for a week and markets go empty. Your shadow has a bill. Shut a major port. $100, $500 million per day gone. Flatten a dense city block, $300 million, $1.5 billion to rebuild plus $50. $150 million for a smashed substation and $10. $50 million per hour from blackouts. One big bridge, $1. $4 billion and years of detours. Being a kaiju is brutal. Mass, heat, hunger, and bills that follow your wake. But it can be even harder to be the human in a giant combat machine, the Jaeger. 6-9G bursts, blackout shakes, 2-pilot brain link where one bad thought tilts the whole frame. When you fall, they feel every ton.